Imagine an aircraft soaring high, beating the wind, and defying gravity. It's a marvel, isn't it? But did you know that a critical element behind this miracle is the humble flap? Flaps are high-lift devices nestled on the wing trailing edges of these magnificent machines. Their primary function? To reduce the stalling speed during takeoff and landing, making these maneuvers safer and more efficient. But that's not all. Flaps are the unsung heroes of aviation, providing extra lift at specific airspeeds. This increased lift allows the aircraft to maintain controlled flight even at lower speeds. And when it's time to come back down to Earth, the flaps increase drag, aiding in a controlled and gradual descent. So flaps are more than just hinged panels on an aircraft's wings. They are essential components of the high-lift system, working tirelessly to ensure smooth takeoffs and safe landings. They contribute significantly to the aircraft's lift and drag, playing a pivotal role in its overall performance. So next time you see an aircraft gracefully ascending or descending, remember, it's the flaps at work. Now that we know the importance of flaps, it's time to delve deeper and understand what exactly they are. Aircraft flaps are high-lift devices mounted on the wing trailing edges of fixed-wing aircraft. Their primary role is to reduce the stalling speed during takeoff and landing. But what does that mean, you might ask? In the simplest terms, stalling speed is the minimal speed at which an aircraft can maintain level flight. By reducing this speed, flaps ensure that the aircraft can take off and land safely at slower velocities. But that's not all. Flaps are the jack of all trades of an aircraft's high-lift system. They serve additional functions that are crucial for controlled flight. One such function is providing extra lift. You see, when flaps are extended, they increase the camber or curvature of the wing. This increased curvature enhances the wing's lift at specific airspeeds, enabling the aircraft to remain airborne at slower speeds. This function is particularly useful during takeoff and landing when the aircraft needs to maintain lift at reduced velocities. Next up is drag. While in most contexts, drag is something one would want to minimize, in the case of flaps, it's quite the opposite. Flaps cause an increase in drag, which, contrary to what you might think, is beneficial for controlled descent. This additional drag acts as a sort of airborne brake, slowing the aircraft down during descent and making the landing process more manageable. In essence, flaps are the unsung heroes of aviation, ensuring safe and efficient flight operations. From reducing stalling speed to providing extra lift and increasing drag, these high-lift devices are instrumental in making every flight a successful one. So, the next time you're on a plane, perhaps give a silent nod of thanks to these remarkable bits of engineering that work tirelessly behind the scenes. Just like there are different types of aircraft, there are also different types of flaps. Let's start with plane flaps. As we dive into the world of flaps, we find that there's more than meets the eye. One of the most basic types is what we call the plane flap. These are hinged to the back of the wing, and when it's time to take action, they pivot downward. Think of them as the unsung heroes of the aviation world, quietly doing their job with minimal fuss. Now, while plane flaps may not be the flashiest of the lot, they serve a crucial purpose. They create lift, that invisible force that helps our aircraft defy gravity. However, like every other hero, they have their kryptonite. In this case, it's energy loss and wake formation. These two factors limit the lift that plane flaps can generate. But don't be quick to write them off just yet. Despite these limitations, plane flaps find a comfortable home in simpler aircraft designs. They might not have the bells and whistles of more complex systems, but they do the job, and they do it well. Our case in point is the Cessna A185F. This aircraft, a classic in its own right, relies on plane flaps for its high-lift system. It's a testament to the fact that sometimes simplicity is key. The Cessna A185F and the many other aircraft that use plane flaps wouldn't have it any other way. So the next time you spot a plane in the sky, consider the humble plane flap. It might not be the star of the show, but without it, the show couldn't go on. Plane flaps, though simple, play a crucial role in the functionality of many aircraft. Moving on from plane flaps, let's explore the world of split flaps. These are a bit of a blast from the past, as they are most commonly seen on older warbird planes. But don't be fooled by their age. These flaps have a unique function that has proven invaluable over time. Split flaps extend in a somewhat dramatic fashion downward and backward from the wing. This movement, while it might seem simple, actually increases drag significantly. If you recall from our earlier discussions, drag can be a useful tool when it comes to controlling descent, making these flaps particularly helpful for pilots navigating complex maneuvers or tricky landings. Now, while you might not see split flaps on the latest commercial jet, their influence is undeniable. They've earned their place in aviation history, especially during the turbulence of World War II. Back then, split flaps were a common sight on aircraft like the Avro Lancaster. These heavy bombers required precise control during their missions, and split flaps provided just that. So, while you might not spot split flaps on your next flight, remember the crucial role they have played. They were a part of the great technological advancements that were born out of necessity during times of conflict. They played their part in shaping the way we fly today, contributing to the safe and efficient flights we now enjoy. Split flaps, though less common today, have played a significant role in aviation history. Having explored the world of flaps, it's time to consolidate our knowledge. Let's take a moment to reflect on the fascinating insights we've gained today about these remarkable high-lift devices. Flaps, as we've learned, are integral components mounted on the wing trailing edges of fixed-wing aircraft. Their primary function? To reduce the stalling speed during takeoff and landing. But that's not all they do. Flaps also serve to increase wing lift at specific airspeeds, providing that extra bit of lift when it's needed most. And let's not forget their role in creating an increase in drag, which is crucial for controlled descent. We've also delved into the different types of flaps, each with its unique features and uses. We've got the plain flaps, hinged to the back of the wing, pivoting downward when extended. These are often seen in simpler aircraft designs like the Cessna A185F due to their limited lift caused by energy loss and wake formation. Then there are the split flaps, which you might spot on some of the older warbird planes. These flaps extend both downward and backward, increasing drag. They hold a place in history, being used in World War II era aircraft such as the Avro Lancaster. But why are flaps so important in aviation, you might ask? Well, they play a pivotal role in ensuring safe takeoffs and landings and controlled flight. Without them, pilots would have a much harder time navigating the skies. They're a testament to the ingenuity of aircraft design, a small but significant part that makes a big difference. So, that's the fascinating world of flaps. Remember to like, subscribe, and share if you found this video helpful. Keep soaring high and keep exploring the wonders of aviation.